All right. Hey, everybody. Dan Fitzpatrick at stockmarketmentor.com. I want to look at an assisted living play today. Just a heads up, on Thursday, Kramer's going to be doing a segment of mine on assisted living, some of these stocks. So I thought I'd kind of get a head start on this. I had sent him my notes over the weekend on this space, on this sector of the market that I think is really, really strong. We're poised to do a lot of good things with respect to the stocks over the next year. And the bottom line is, like, you go like, well, what the hell is up with assisted living? A bunch of old folks? Yeah, a bunch of old folks. We're all getting older. People that go into their 80s also tend to go in assisted living homes. So there's a real demographic play here that cannot be avoided. And then there's also an AI play here, which I'm not going to get into the details on that right now. But think about this. There's no frickin' build out. These people are not mega spenders or hyperscalers or any of that other crap. They actually use this stuff. Like, so there's no question about whether, oh, will they ever be able to monetize their multi-billion dollar investment? Guys, this is a bunch of old folks' homes using AI to help their patients, their inhabitants, their residents, whatever you want to call it, and it's going directly to the bottom line. So this is a really, really interesting trade. Is it better than semiconductors, or is it better than Micron or whatever, you name it? I don't know. I just like it. Whether you think it's better, whether it actually does better than the hyperscalers. Oh, is it going to really beat Google or Alphabet? I don't know. I don't give a damn. I just know that these things work. Okay. I'm going to show you some. I'm going to show you one. It's called the Pennant Group. And I think that this is the best setup that I've seen in a long time with respect to this sector, which is the old folks' homes. Okay, that's it. I should just call it the old folks' home sector, and I can say that because I'm almost 70, so I'm close to being one of those. But the point that I'm making is, this is probably not going to be a super fast mover, but I guarantee you it's going to be a mover, and I'll show you what I'm talking about right now. Let me share my screen, which is always good when I want to show you charts, right? Okay, so this is the Pennant Group. And so you're going to look at this and say, well, what's the big deal? What's the big deal about that? It's got a little breakout here, fine. It's a breakout here, fine. Okay, it's got a breakout here. So we got all of these different things, okay? And it's got a bunch of higher lows, okay, fine. So it's got all of these things going for it. So this is all a really, really good thing, right? Well, I'm going to show you something else. First of all, look at volume. Volume is running higher right up into this move. So this move, and some are a little bit, well, they're actually not lower than average volume. Some of these are just like average volume, but basically, though, look at all the green skyscrapers here. So this is a real good, strong volume move that accompanies this really strong price movement. So this is really, really good stuff. Now, before I get to the weekly chart, which is what I think you're going to find really, really enticing, I want to just tell you, we do this kind of stuff all the time at Stock Market Mentor. If you are not a member, dude, $7 for 14 days. That's like 50 cents a day. If you can't afford that, then frankly, you shouldn't be trading. And if you are trading and you don't feel like doing that, then you're obviously not interested in getting better. We've got people making millions of dollars at Stock Market Mentor. They're making a ton of money. And the reason is because, first of all, you know what? I find good stocks. But second of all, and I could probably even put this first, I actually focus on risk first instead of just, hey, buy this, it's going to be a double, it's going to be great. I always get people in at a low risk trade. So anyway, got to do it. Stockmarketmentor.com. Dude, $7. Come on. Okay. If you don't make that money back, let me know. I'll send you $7 in the mail. All right. Back on track. Check this out. Weekly chart. This is just what I'm talking about. Okay, back here, big, massive move off the IPO. Yippee. Clear up here. Very short period of time. That was then, this is now. So then this takes a big dump, right? Kind of has me thinking about what happens in old folks' homes sometimes when the patients are left unattended in their beds for too long. All right. And by the way, AI helps with that because there's less time doing paperwork, more time working directly with patients. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about here. Anyway, back on track here. We'll get out of the bedpans. So this can kind of look like a bedpan pattern here, actually more like this. This is more of a bedpan pattern. It's not really, you could say it's a cup and handle, nice little kind of move here, but then, okay, where's the handle? Is it here? That's kind of a pretty rough handle. Same thing here. So I'm not going to classify this. You could even say, oh, it's a double bottom. All right. This is what I look at it as. I don't think it's a double bottom. I just think this is a nice multi-year consolidation where this stock has formed some kind of a base. It's kind of a higher base than this here, but it's just now breaking out. And this is what I'm talking about as far as this isn't going to be one of these rocket ships where you buy it at 40 and then in a month and a half I'm crowing because it's 60 bucks. I'm not. This is not a stock that's going to light your hair on fire, but I'll tell you this, it's a stock that you're going to make money on. And in this kind of market where there's things, money's shifting all around, look at the S&P, look at the NASDAQ. I mean, they're being outperformed by the Dow, the sleepy Dow, if you can believe that. So what I'm talking about here is a stock that actually plays. Like this is a stock that you will actually be able to make some money on and rest easy at night. All right. So I want you to check that out. Again, stock market mentor, $7, $7. Okay. That's all I got for you. I'll see you guys next time.